My parents are Felix and Nelly Moyano Fraga. The history of my family in the East End goes back to my paternal grandparents. My father's parents came from San Luis Potosi, Mexico. My grandfather arrived in 1913, and my grandmother came in the early 1920s, and they met here in the Houston area, and then started their family here in the Second Ward. And my father, who was one of 6 boys, he and some of my uncles were baptized at Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is the first Spanish-speaking parish. The building that's there today on Navigation was built in 1923. My family's done quite a bit contributing to the community, and they credit the community for helping them as well. My dad cites the Rust Settlement, which is the forerunner of neighborhood centers, which is today Baker Ripley, as helping him get through life. As a little boy, he went to the settlement house for services, and then he started working for the organization as a youth worker in 1946 and was with the organization for well over 70 years. My parents actually met at the Ripley House Community Center, which is part of the organization, in 1966. And that's a wonderful story in itself. And so together, my parents and also several of my uncles have done quite a bit for the community. It's been a wonderful two-way relationship with the community. As I understand it, my father has been a supporter of New Hope Housing for many years, going back to the early 2000s. Again, my dad has a great love for the community, and he really sees it as a two-way relationship, that he's benefited greatly from the community. He's always wants to give back. So being aware that affordable quality housing is a need in the Second Ward and in the East End, he approached New Hope Housing, a board member, Ernest Maldonado, as I understand it, an architect, and that the type of housing that New Hope was doing was exactly what was needed here in the Second Ward. So that started my dad's connection with New Hope Housing, and to get those projects started at Canal Street and also going on to the other ones that have been built since then. And so it started with my dad reaching out because he cares about the community and wants the best for the community. He started organizing several meetings, included lunch meetings, community forums, to bring the community together to understand what this was going to be. And with that, he was able to build greater support for New Hope Housing. New Hope Housing has done a wide range of developments, including family housing, which is, I think, what's we really need in the Second Ward moving forward. As our city and our state continues to grow and more people move in, and also particularly move into the urban core, and property values increase, there's a pressure there on longtime community residents. So doing affordable quality housing, and I'm very glad that that's part of New Hope Housing's future, and it will speak to that aspiration that we want quality housing that's available to families, especially those families that have been here for many, many generations. New Hope Housing is also doing senior housing, which is also very much needed. And so there is breaking ground this year, 2023, on a development here in the East End, and there's more in store, in the pipeline for us here on the east side of Houston. So continuing my father's legacy, it's a wonderful thing. Also a great challenge, in the sense that the work continues. Again, I just like my father, I feel that affordable quality housing will always be needed. I mean, that's just a basic need of any person, is a place to live and a place to be able to thrive. And so I'm very glad to do what I can with New Hope Housing to make sure that we get to do that great work of affordable quality housing going into the future here in the Second Ward and in the greater Houston area. I'd like to wish New Hope Housing a happy 30th anniversary. Thank you for all the great work over 3 decades, and I'd like to encourage the community to continue supporting this organization in its great work of affordable quality housing. So please donate and support in other ways as you can.